Hey, good morning, party people. Welcome to the Honest Trailer Commentary for Lilo and Stitch, the show where we'll tell you all of our uncensored thoughts about the movie while we watch the trailer. Then we're going to respond to some viewer comments, show you some deleted scenes, and tease you with next week's trailer. I got my Ohana with me today. Danielle, Lon, mahalo.
Mahalo.
I mean,
Aloha. That's a
aloha.
good
I
one.
don't know.
Aloha. Yeah,
God,
Either
I'm,
way.
it's
I'm
aloha.
butchering this.
Mahalo is thank you. Aloha's hello and goodbye. But it's close enough.
Well, excuse my mistake. This was my first time watching Lilo and Stitch, and I really liked it. I thought this was a very cute kind of, I guess, underrated because I don't hear it talked in the same breath about as well. It's not as good as The Lion King and Aladdin, but it's up there. But it's up there for me. I thought this was a really sweet Disney film in an era when I had completely checked out of Disney. I was not a Treasure Planet, Atlantis, Brother Bear fan, so this was fun. No wonder this got three spin-offs in a TV series that I also never saw. But what was your guys' history with Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, I think I was by the time this came out, I was a little older, so I wasn't watching a lot of the Disney stuff either. But watching it was really fun. It made me really homesick. I lived in Hawaii for about 7 years. So watching it again made me really, really homesick, but not for all that Elvis though. There is a lot of Elvis on that island. Elvis and Don Ho. Didn't miss those, but really, really enjoyed the movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely. I was not watching everything Disney in this era, and I checked it out specifically because the vibe on it was a little better. Like, and that's kind of what that was definitely what sort of the culture and like thought of it at the time. And I think I felt the same way that like during what was sort of a dark period creatively for Disney, this was like a promising new direction. Like now Disney's done a lot of these kind of more comedy focused kind of movies that are, it's like it's not a musical fairy tale adaptation princess movie like we're used to. It's trying to sort of be something different. That stood out much more 20 years ago when this was made than it does today. And yeah, so this was like a bright spot in an otherwise kind of grim few years before Pixar and everybody kind of righted the ship.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't call it like DreamWorksy, but it did have like some pop culture stuff in it, and it does take place in well, I guess DreamWorks doesn't do this either, but it was different for Disney. It was kind of an outcast Disney movie because it takes place in the real world,
Right.
and it's like sci-fi, and I don't think Disney really touches like aliens and stuff, like at least in my limited Disney knowledge. Like they don't do science fiction and outer space stories aside from like,
Right.
well, I
I mean,
can't
they
think of
just
any.
a treasure planet, but yeah, we usually think of them as that storybook fantasy mode, and yeah, this is something a little different, and I think it is a little bit more comedy focused than a lot of the other stuff they've been doing in this era, and especially like Disney Renaissance era, when the movies always have a funny angle, but it's like Hunchback, like here's the real movie, and then like let's take a comedy break with these gargoyles, and then back to the drama.
Yeah. So super cute. And I think I liked it probably mostly of all just from like an aesthetic standpoint. Like I like the color palette. I like the animation style. I don't think that they lean too heavily on like the fake 3D thing that sometimes that they snuck into Lion King and stuff like that. Like this was a lower budget Disney movie, and I think that forced them to kind of be creative and cute with the tools they had, which was just pen and paper.
Yeah, the animation on this is gorgeous. And I mean, you always say that for a Disney movie, but it's really makes you long for some hand drawn for sure.
Yeah, and it's stylized. It has its own look that feels unique to Lilo and Stitch. And some Disney movies do that, but not all of them. There's kind of the Disney house style that a lot of the movies are, and then every once in a while you get one that kind of makes it has its own visual palette and aesthetic and sort of design. And like the Lilo and Stitch characters don't look like other Disney characters. You can spot them right away. That's always interesting.
Yeah. So as far as what sucks about this movie, I just say that for me, it's like it's not so tightly plotted. You could say, like Lon, I think you brought up like if this was a Pixar movie, they'd have huge backstories for the whole alien federation and their origins and all that stuff like that, and yet it just looks like they just mashed some animals together and
yeah, to me
off
that's
Star
the
Trek.
laziest part. Is like, first of all, if you're going to call it the Federation, already we're thinking Star Trek, so you've got to differentiate somehow, and they just don't. It's basically just the Federation from Star Trek, exactly, except yeah, everything's like a combined. And wasn't there was a Disney show about hybrid animals, wasn't there? What
Oh,
were
I don't
they?
know.
Mm.
I'll look it up. But anyway, yeah, they're just like, it's like a giraffe alien, and that's the monkey alien, and it's like, come on, do better. The Wuzzles.
Do better.
The Wuzzles were the Disney
the
cartoon
Wuzzles.
show where they were two kinds of fun wrapped up and rolled into one. You guys.
Oh. Yeah, I was thinking Animorphs, but
No, different.
and then yeah, like it was just kind of fakakta the way they justified a lot of things in the second to third act of like, we got to just tie this all up in a bow, and like it's not making sense anymore.
Well, the alien overlord definitely pulls a Dumbledore at the end, where it's just like 5,000 points to Stitch. You get to stay on Earth. Let's just resolve this plot with a lot of hand waving.
Yeah, and we're all best friends now. It doesn't matter who tried to kill who.
Yeah.
Stop bringing up old stuff.
Cue the montage. So we'll go into it in more detail as we watch the honest trailer for Lilo and Stitch. Roll it.
After huge bombs like Atlantis the Lost Empire and Treasure Planet. But before a huge bomb like Brother Bear, came Disney Animation's last hiccup of success before Bob Iger said, screw this, let's just buy Pixar. Lilo and Stitch. Return
pause.
to
The Brother Bear was the final straw. And I imagine that and Pixar was just absolutely eating Disney's lunch for that 5-year period. So God, I wonder what it was like for Bob Iger to walk into Steve Jobs' office and be like, "Can I please?" Well, it's not like begging; he's offering him like billions of dollars.
It was more like backing up several Brinks trucks into the Pixar lot. But yes.
But I mean, what an admission of failure. I mean, smart business move, but like Disney and children's animation are completely synonymous. And then to just admit defeat like that and be like, we can't beat Pixar at their own game. We have to. And you got to
bear in mind too, this is only one decade after Disney's like rise from the ashes, like Jeffrey Katzenberg, Menken, and like all of those guys coming, Ashman, and turning the whole ship around with like that unprecedented run of success, getting Best Picture nominations or whatever. And so it was a real rise and fall type situation to get here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
return to the era of flat 2D animation that in this movie's case is still full of curves.
Everything has kind of a roundness that's puffed up a little bit.
Horses' legs are bottom heavy, they're chunkier at the bottom.
And meet Stitch, a biological weapon on a 5-star GTA crime spree.
He's taken a police cruiser.
He's not just insanely violent.
Hey! Touch buggy!
He's not just
So
profoundly.
pause for a second. Did you guys see the discourse online about how like Lilo and Stitch like glorifies abuse?
Oh no,
No,
I didn't see
All
that.
right, I won't
didn't see it.
rehash it here.
It's one of those where it's like, what? Because like she loves him even though he's bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a child, and
Uh-huh.
as is Stitch, really. Like that, to me, Stitch was coded
Right.
as like a toddler, right, or something that was just created.
Yeah, well, he was, and he's like, an orphan in some way. Like he has this scientist who created him, but he doesn't have, conventional parents. And it's an ET, it's ET again. It's
Yeah.
that same.
Yeah.
I just think Stitch needs to be held accountable, and Lilo, for their many crimes.
But we did
Call the
make the
Federation,
case-
I guess.
I would say in the honest trailer commentaries for ET, we did make the case that he was kind of abusing Elliot. To be fair, because they soul bond. Elliot does not say, "Okay, you can soul
That was a
bond with me."
non-consensual soul bond, but
And
that was
then
some
he's like sucking his life force away. Like, Stitch doesn't go that far.
no, exactly.
He's
Yeah,
just
this movie, we didn't talk about
rambunctious.
the ET parallels are thick in this one, but maybe we'll talk more about that
We
later.
talked about it. It's just ET plus Iron Giant is basically this movie,
Yeah.
but in a good way. I like this one.
All right, keep going.
Disgusting.
Hey!
Ugh.
No, worst of all, he speaks like the love child of Gollum and a minion.
Sneaky little hobbitses. Macarena, papoy. No. Papoy.
Two
Yeah,
worlds.
pause. That's one of the creators does the voice, and man, if we ever make an animated feature film, that's the secret. Like the Minions guy, the Stitch guy and the Jack in the Box guy. Is you do that voice.
Get real
you hold
paid,
on to that, and they gotta pay you forever.
People love those weird Sims talking characters. Yeah.
Do the gibberish. If you ever have a chance, do the gibberish.
Yeah.
I also got a kick of the credits. It said based on an idea by Chris Sanders. I didn't know that was a credit you could have. I have ideas.
I want to know, was this like written on like a bar napkin idea? Was this like a call you at 3 o'clock in the morning because you had too much coffee idea? I want to know what kind of idea this was.
Yeah.
This was a watching E.T. and then being like, what if did this plus Iron Giant? It was that idea.
Yeah. Disney owes a lot of people idea by credit if that's a thing you can do. All right, keep going.
Glide when Stitch meets Lilo and Nani, the saddest family unit in Disney history.
We're a broken family, aren't we?
Lilo is friendless and poor, trying to please a fish who she thinks controls the weather because her parents were killed in a storm.
It was rainy, and they went for a drive.
Nani is a constantly unemployed teenager raising her sister, whose only friend is trying to get in her pants.
Aw, David, I owe you one.
You can just date me and we'll call it even.
And they're both being stalked by the world's most relentless child protective services agent.
Did you ever kill anyone?
We're getting off the subject.
Wow, that's grim.
So he's like an ex-Roswell, like he's Men in Black, right?
He's a man in black.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
So does he know Stitch is an alien from the get-go? And he's like keeping tabs on him? But because it still seems like he's trying to tear apart this family, regardless.
You know, multitasking is something that very few people are capable of doing. And clearly, Bubbles has got that multitasking gene because he is able to both track an alien and try to take away the young girl from her sister and the only family she's ever known.
Yeah, it really seems like they're gonna do that twist at the end. I feel like there was an earlier version of this where Cobra Bubbles at the end reveals that's why he's been there all along. And then it doesn't happen. And it's just like, no, I just love kids.
I just love taking kids away.
Yeah, I just gave up on being a Man in Black so I could rip families apart. That's my real passion. And yeah, so I feel like that might have been a thing that was cut for time or something, that there was gonna be some larger payoff to him obviously being a Man in Black, but they can't use the phrase because they don't own it.
I would like to see, I think Danielle, you pointed out, like, where's his spinoff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him, the alien tracker, CIA agent, CPS guy. I want to see where else that goes.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be a gritty, very realistic story about the foster system.
Oh, it's still pretty and realistic. Don't get me wrong. It's dark.
No aliens. I think it's just him dealing with these troubled families.
The foster system, but for aliens, is like the dark reboot of Men in Black.
It's just called We're a Broken Family with Cobra Bubbles.
And yeah, I'm sure people are pointing out like, oh, they dive into that in Lilo and Stitch 4. Lilo Takes Manhattan. So whatever. I'm not going to watch
with
that.
Jason. Jason's also in that.
All right, keep going.
The subject.
Wow, that's grim. Still not as grim as whatever's going on in this dog shelter.
What is that thing? A dog, I think. But it was dead this morning.
Then why was he in the same cage as the living dogs, you freak? Thrill as our heroes are pursued by a blatant ripoff of the Federation from Star Trek.
Captain on deck.
With a slightly more lax policy on global genocide.
We have to gas the planet.
When Stitch escapes, they'll deputize one wacky waving inflatable arms tube man and one guy with a Russian accent, so you just know he's evil.
Hiding behind your little friend.
Yeah, pause. I mean, it's too nitpicky to point out, I think, in an honest trailer, but it's like, okay, this biological weapon has escaped. Let's send the guy who created it and is like a self-admitted evil scientist and this nerd to go down to fix the problem.
Yeah, you would think the Federation, like if they are the Federation from Star Trek, like where's Kirk and Spock? Like you don't have a more capable crew you could send on this mission?
There's a deleted scene. I saw a deleted scene where like the rest of the crimes against nature, like all the hybrid animals are like chewing out the head of the Federation. Like that's such a dumb idea. And she's like, they're right. Maybe I should try something else. So I guess they just didn't want to hang a lantern on it because, Not a good plan.
To me, that's like the weakest part. Like the strong material in the movie is all the stuff about Lilo and her family and that stuff. The stuff about them being tracked by these two goofballs from space is like,
yeah.
I really think they could have stood to maybe rethink how that.
It's like they can't shoot them because of the mosquito thing.
It's all a little flimsy, and it's just like, I get that you need something to cut to and some sort of angle that keeps the Federation involved, but I don't know if that was the one.
It's also a pretty grim implication at the beginning that Stitch is only hanging around to use them as a human shield. Like, that's dark.
Well, you gotta take it. You gotta have somewhere to build from.
Yeah, but they're building from like literally a meat shield, like a bullet sponge for an alien. So
he learns a lot over the course of the story. You know?
He does.
Yeah,
Thank you,
over this experience.
All right, keep going.
It won't work anymore.
To put on objectively terrible disguises, go on a hilarious attempted murder spree.
You're mine.
Stop! Then abandon their mission to join the heroes at the end because the movie is 90 minutes long and Pixar's writers aren't there to help out yet.
You expect me to help you just like that? Fine.
So enjoy one of the underappreciated gems of Disney's past that made a few much-needed changes to the formula, swapping original songs for Elvis, fantasy locales for the real Hawaii, and an ending that mimicked the 9/11 hijackings for one that didn't. That change made sense, but what's up with the Disney Plus version turning the dryer into a pizza storage shelf? Back in my day,
that was insane. Yeah. Vanessa pointed that out, who helped write on this one, and I didn't watch the Disney Plus version. I watched whatever DVD rip we have, and it was a washer and dryer. And then she put in her notes like, "Why is Stitch or Lilo hiding in like a pizza box?" So I cannot. What an insane series of events must have led to. Well, we can't have her hide in the dryer because that's dangerous. We've decided that's dangerous. Kids might try to do that. What do they have instead? A pizza storage shelf next to the washer?
Yeah, because the stupidest thing about this, there's a long list of things.
I thought it was an oven, first of all. At first blush, I'm like, she's hiding in an oven?
It looks right, which is not better. Like that's what I thought is like, oh, well, it's a pizza oven. Wait, what? But that you don't have a child hiding a pizza oven instead of a dryer.
It's like it's bloody too.
Both terrible ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Punky Brewster taught us don't hide in appliances.
Why couldn't you just make it look like a cupboard or something? Like it seems like that would have been just as easy as a pizza storage unit where you put your full boxes of pizza before you eat them.
That's some goop stuff right there. That's some Gwyneth Paltrow.
Right. You know how you have 5 boxes of warm pizza that you want to keep warm, but you don't want to eat it.
And you don't want to put it in an oven. It needs its own single-use cabinet.
Storage unit.
Temperature controlled, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Stupid.
You're running a pizza restaurant out of your home kitchen.
Special edition ification of Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, really.
Keep it pure.
Every gun in the movie is now a walkie-talkie.
The guns on this movie don't do anything.
They're just like little splurp, like water
they shoot
guns?
Splorps.
Yeah, they shoot little gloops, yeah.
Anyways, all right, keep going.
It's a storage shelf? Back in my day, we played in the dryer and we liked it. Starring Fight Cub.
Molly.
Never Skipped Leg Day. Dexter Jetster's Laboratory. Bleakley Fly Day. Ving Rhames as himself. Hunk of Burning Love. And is Captain Get Too Hot, or have we been in lockdown for way too long? Galaxy Past.
Thick shark.
Thick.
3 days ago, I bought Stitch at the shelter. I paid $2 for him. See the snap? I own him.
Sorry, Lilo. Perhaps you should read the fine print next time. This is just a thank you letter to the animation studios for their work on this movie. Take him away, boys.
Nice. Good catch, Kevin, on that one. Let's see, what didn't we talk about in this one? Lon, you were not a music fan for this. You did not like the Elvis sound-alike.
No, it wasn't that. I liked the idea of, instead of Disney songs or original songs in this, we're going to just use Elvis songs. I was like, what a cool concept. But then they abandoned it. They blatantly abandoned their own bit. First of all, they put in a really bad original song about how surfing is Hawaii's roller coaster, which is like, they first of all, they also, I'm sure, have at least one roller coaster in Hawaii. So
can confirm there are roller coasters in Hawaii.
Yeah, so roller coasters are Hawaii's roller coasters. So it's ridiculous. But then there's also a cover of an Elvis song instead of just putting the Elvis song in there. I don't understand.
Well, they had to do the original because if you want to get the original song Oscar, you have to have an original song in there, and that's how we get Hawaiian. But it's like
Hawaii,
that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one you think's gonna get you the Oscar.
If it was a really good song, I'm sure I would have been like, fine. If it's like a new take on, like so, but it's not very good. And then I didn't think the Burning Love cover is as good as the Elvis version.
Sure.
So those were my old man Lilo and Stitch music complaints.
Yeah, there was one other. You had one other old man complaint is that the titles of the book are printed on the back of the book.
That just I thought looked funny. They just animated it weird, so we can see the titles. We can read what the title back, and it makes it look like the books are.
Skim back through that and mark that down and rage at the screen.
It wasn't, but that was offered. The music criticism was full of rage. The book thing was a lighthearted.
Let's see what else we cut out when we watch these deleted scenes.
Starring Jagged Lilo Pill, Dohana, My Stepbrother is an Alien, Illegal Alien, Animaniac, Nani 911, Carrera Takers, Pooh Nani. Nani? Was Jumbo too obvious? Dr. Frankenstein's, The Gutty Professor, Jumba Juice, Close Encounters of the Nerd Kind.
I'm gonna get futuristic on his ass.
Lilo Dallas Multipass, E.T., Aloha Oi, Ohana and her sisters, The Stitch Finder's Guide to the Galaxy.
Elvis Presley was a model citizen.
The day Lilo Googles Elvis will not be a fun day. These guys have watched planets explode. What could Stitch have said to get that intense a reaction? Answer in the comments below.
Yeah, I was going to ask for that, but then, I figure everything would get caught by the filters and,
They're just going to do it in the comments to this video now, Spencer. It's prevented nothing.
You're right. I just moved it on us.
Yeah,
oh, well.
Just shifted it.
Oh, well. Flagged for adult content.
You're welcome, Fandom Entertainment.
I'm sure he said something perfectly sweet. Let's see. So, I want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please hit like, and please comment below with the nicest thing you can think of saying, and ring that bell. Also want to give you guys a heads up. The Fandom 5 trivia contest is back next week, but it's a gaming one, so it's going to be on Fandom Games, I believe. Bailey Myers, our new host, will be hosting, and it's going to be all about Nintendo. You know Nintendo, the Mario people. And I assume other things. But if you come by and answer those questions, you can win real cash about fake things like games. So check that out. I assume links are in the description below.
Yep.
All right, now we got some questions coming in from the chat. Ryan's picking out the best ones. Cody Smith writes, who are the best sisters in cinema? Who are the best cinema sisters? I think Nani and Lilo was great. Like, it was a really good sisterly relationship, although I don't have sisters, but like that fight that they get in at the beginning, like that's real. Like when they're screaming at each other and like, and then they make up. Like to put that a scene like that in a kids movie, I thought was really solid and made it real to me. But I'm gonna think about the best ones while you guys answer.
I think you got to go Elsa and Anna, maybe. Those are some good sisters. It's either going to be that or it's going to be the two sisters from Coming to America for me. Like those are my.
I think you need to also point out Gamora and Nebula from our Guardians and our Avengers films. That's a very notable sister relationship in today's movies. That's the first one I thought of.
Yeah, I guess for me that it was just the Coven and Suspiria, but I don't think that they're actual sisters. I think that they're more like a sisterhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right. Yeah, they're witches that are united in a coven, but I don't think they're like blood.
Yeah.
But that doesn't listen. Sisterhood is sisterhood, whether it's biological or otherwise. Also, if we're talking supernatural horror, ginger snaps, right?
Never seen Ginger Snaps.
No? All right. I thought so. I could be wrong about that. They're
All right,
werewolves,
well,
right?
well, help us out, chat. Who
Come
are the
on,
best movie
folks.
sisters? I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, two outcast sisters. Thank you.
Well, there you go.
Check out the classic 2000 werewolf film Ginger Snaps, everybody.
Noop writes, why is the voice different than usual? Well, it's still John. Still John Bailey. He's a man of many talents and many voices. And you'll notice for pretty much every family movie we do, he does the Disney voice, as he calls it. I don't know which person it's a riff on, but if you watch 90s and 2000s Disney commercials, it sounds like that. It doesn't have the epic, deep-throated trailer voice. So that's why. It's still John.
And what a Wally impression on Molly.
Great Wally. Yeah, no filter.
Great.
Yeah.
Really selling that joke.
Drew Williams writes, is David the most handsome Disney guy?
No.
He's kind of, and again, Lon, this didn't make it in, but it's an excellent point. Everybody is bumbling in this movie,
yeah,
including David. He sets himself on fire, or the place he works on fire.
They definitely fall back on the common animation thing of like, what kind of personality do we give this? We're like, whoa, they're always clumsy, like that's such a go-to trope, and they kind of overuse it a little in this one.
Yeah, a lot of bumbling going on. But I guess I think the de facto answer is
he's a good-looking man.
It's the Mulan guy, right? That trains them. Be a man. That one.
He's pretty hot. I think also, I mean, if we're talking, most people are going to say that darn fox from Robin Hood, which right. That's just, who am I to say what you find hot?
I think it's I think I saw like a poll or something, and it was the Tangled guy. The Tangled
Ryder.
Thief.
Flynn Ryder.
Flynn Ryder. Yeah.
Nobody's going to throw Gaston in the mix?
Sure.
Or Prince Eric, or
there you go. You have a bevy of hunky princes to choose from.
Does Thanos count as a Disney prince?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, okay.
He's a Disney king.
He's a Disney overlord.
Let's see. So maybe we can do this collaboratively. A Disney fan writes, what are your 5 favorite Disney Pixar movies? In parentheses, I am a big Disney fan. Thank you for your question, Disney fan.
So these are either Disney or Pixar, the whole
I guess,
run?
Yeah, the whole gamut.
Wow. Well, I mean, gotta throw like Pinocchio. I think one of the greatest ones of all time. I would definitely throw that one up there.
Little Mermaid for me.
I really like Alice in Wonderland. That's always been one of my favorites, although I know it is not one of the like universally most celebrated.
Yeah.
I'm also that way with I loved Great Mouse Detective growing up so much that it's really like a big nostalgia one for me, even though it's not most other people's favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard for me because I was a diehard Looney Tunes kid. I was raised on WB. That was my animation. I wanted to see someone get hit with a frying pan, and if it didn't, I wasn't into it. So I think like the stuff I was drawn to was just like the animation in general. Like I loved Fantasia growing up. I thought that was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And obviously more recently, like Pixar is doing, you can't underrate Toy Story. Like it's one of the great animated films of all time.
Pixar is also like just recently on like a crazy run. Like Inside Out is so good and Coco is so good.
Yeah.
And then Soul, I thought was really good. Like they're hitting like
they're like existential trilogies. Yeah,
like just in the last few years, which is amazing considering how long they've been going and how good they've been for so long.
So yeah, I guess it's hard to say as not personally a diehard Disney fan, like, but you got to respect it. Like everything's pretty good, pretty good to great, except for I guess the 80s and parts of the 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even some of that like like Oliver and Company, I'm not gonna like jump in and celebrate, but like Black Cauldron was a bomb, and like there are parts of it that irritate me, like that little dog guy, I forget what his name is, but like it also looks kind of awesome, and like there's some very cool animation in it. Like even those aren't total throwaways.
Yeah. Okay, so this one's interesting. Miss Orsat writes, how's the Con Air musical coming? Now, we do enough videos that I've completely forgotten. Did we ever promise to do a Con Air musical?
think
I see. I
did.
didn't know. I don't remember what that's from either. I guess Mikolai put that. I don't know what that's from.
Please remind us, because that's something I want to do very much.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's from, but like, yeah, let's
Yes.
do it.
It's-
I'm re-sold on it.
We've done iambic pentameter. Next is
Yeah.
obviously we do a musical.
We definitely do the Con Air musical.
Yeah.
I know we've done Con Air as an honest trailer already, but we'll do it again just with songs this time.
Cyrus the Virus is going to have one hell of a villain song. Like writes itself. Really.
That'll be fantastic. Finally, Rob Turner asked an appropriate question because we love our food here. It's Pancake Day. What are your pancake toppings of choice? Or I guess pancake type, if you're like a alt pancake.
I will tell you there's a place I used to go in Santa Monica called the Bread and Porridge, and they would do these blueberry pancakes that I know that's like a standard answer, but they were like next level amazing, and I miss them because I haven't been to that place in forever. There is also a place in downtown LA called Bottega Louie that do lemon ricotta pancakes.
Oh, love a little lemon ricotta, yeah.
And wow. Next level, holy crap. Brace yourself.
Yeah. I grew up on crepes. Just my Oma's German from Germany. So we grew up on crepes. But they were like the kind where you would just take regular pancake mix and then thin it out. And then it would just be like jelly and sugar. It's so like not fancy, but it reminds me of what being a kid, just like some Smuckers on a crepe. So I guess that would be mine. Is like, I like jelly on pancakes. It just reminds me of home.
Nice. I mean, I'm a French toast man. If you force me to choose, but as far as pancakes go, yeah, lemon ricotta is amazing. And to me, they're already a dessert. So like, go whole hog. Go like chocolate chip, bacon, whipped cream. Like just throw everything on there because you're only gonna eat one, and it's gonna be like, okay, I'm done with pancakes. They're like nachos to me. Like they have that like delicious to disgusting thing happens so quickly.
Very quickly. Right. Have you ever been, either of you, to the Griddle on Sunset?
Oh yeah,
It's
love
like
the Griddle.
Yeah, ridiculous LA place that specializes in like massive,
huge,
over the top chocolate chip, like with 3 layers,
red velvet.
Just ludicrous dessert pancakes.
Yeah. So there you go. Happy Pancake Day to everybody.
I didn't even know it was Pancake Day. What a cool
It's a UK thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess I should have checked before putting that in. I'm just assuming that person's right.
No, listen, Brian, it could be Pancake Day and I just haven't heard about it. I don't get alerted for all the food days necessarily.
In the UK, they're known as flopwoggles, I believe. Okay, so Miss Orsa, just a quick follow-up. Miss Orsa is reminding us from the Rock commentary, somebody asked which would make a better musical, Con Air or The Rock, and I guess we kind of started an impromptu Con Air musicals pitch. We will get on that. I think we need to revisit that and make it real. Mm-hmm. You know what else is real? You guys. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching this show and coming back next week, when we will be discussing a film that's gonna go straight to the dome. That's your clue for next week. Danielle, Lon, thank you for joining me. Audience, thank you guys. Love you, appreciate you. See you then. Bye-bye.